Good afternoon, everyone. It's
Hello.
Zach.
And Sabrina.
Dr. Solt. We were sitting down to some beef ribs, and I was thinking today that I get a lot of questions about like how our kids eat on carnivore, and it actually kind of blows my mind how how much of a carnivore Zen is. Like today, I made some like pork sausages, and Sabrina had cut up some strawberries earlier for him, which he doesn't really eat. He like grabbed one after I was done cutting him up, and he had a strawberry in his mouth. And I walked over with a bowl of sausage, and I handed him the bowl, and he spit the strawberry out onto the floor and grabbed the bowl and started eating the sausage. It was like,
Yeah, he completely picked the meat over the fruit, and he was asking for that. Like he was like, oh, whenever we open up the fridge, like he'll go in and he'll point at what he wants, and he was pointing at the strawberries. But then as soon as the meat was the better option, he totally ditched the plants. And I think that that's just a real testament to like the human survival state. And then of course, he's nursing now. All right, maybe he's all done. Say bye.
bye.
Bye. He actually interrupted my meal of meat. So.
Yeah, so you can finish eating if you want.
I'm
Okay,
just
try
gonna
to get out of your way.
eating while we're
But
doing
yeah,
this.
so and I had a couple questions in the group too, like how how their kids are super stubborn and don't want to switch over to Zoe. We're making a video. Remember I told you? Go outside and play then. Sorry.
Hold on, I'll go help her.
I'll go help her. So they were asking, they were saying basically their kids don't want to have anything to do with meat and they just want to eat the junk food. I had a longtime friend of mine message me yesterday talking about, how, his wife is feeding the kids just all this kind of junk, and it's like, so it seems to be a pretty big issue, and I think it's probably the biggest issue, and the main reason is because our kids grow up to be adults, and if whatever they're doing right now, what you're training them and how you're feeding them is absolutely going to lead to their habits later on in life, right? So um, the the main things that we do that I think makes it pretty easy is, one, we don't buy the junk. We reward the behavior for the positive food. We always pull out meat first. We don't say no, you can't have it. We have the meat here first in front of them, so that's the option that they have. And I told somebody today, it's still, it's your house, your rules. That still apply. So
Yeah, act like the adult.
Yeah, you have to train the kid. Like, it's hard enough as an adult. You think the kids aren't gonna pick sugar over, or my favorite joke from Cat Williams is like, your kids are supposed to like Skittles used to. Like the kids they're going to be programmed to like sugar. So, what do you think?
Yeah, I think if I could have done it over again, I would have put Zoe on more of a carnivore diet when she was a baby, because this guy, it's like so instinctual for him. He doesn't like processed food. Like, there's an opportunities where he's been able to try it. It's like, oh, you just want to test it just to see, like, and he spits it out like he does the whole. Bleh.
Yeah, that they're like, nope, I don't want that. Yeah, but they the thing too is that they want, when they see me get excited about the meat or about what it is, like whenever I make sausage or make chicken wings, I'm like, oh, this is so good. And Zoe sees me, talk about it like that. She asks for it.
Yeah, you gotta lead by example. Your
Yeah.
kids are watching everything you do, and your kids. Here's the thing: kids will do what they see, not what you tell them.
Yes, right. You can't say, you really can't teach people to eat healthy. You have to lead by example, because we all watch what everybody else does to know what to do. I actually think to an extent that's kind of why our civilization is going downhill, because everybody wants to watch what everybody else is doing, and
social media makes that really easy.
Yeah.
And I feel like, at least my summary of social media is that I have a list of them, and they all start with I, but it's, you're either being influenced, you're being oh my gosh, what's my list? I'm gonna find my list, because I thought I'm gonna make a post on this, because it really does matter. So you're either being influenced, inspired, intimidated, irritated, or idolized. Some people have big followings and they feel like they've reached that like idol status. I don't know if any of these things are good in large doses. I mean, irritated certainly isn't, but check yourself. Like, next time you're on social media, are you feeling influenced? Are you feeling inspired? Are you feeling intimidated, irritated, or idolized?
Yeah.
It's a good gut check for you.
Gut check.
And then what are you trying to put out there on your social media too? I personally, I try to go for like mild influence, but mostly inspiration. Like I want, what I'm doing that's working so well for me to be a beacon for somebody else that might be struggling.
Yeah, I struggle with that. I'm a lot less diplomatic. I actually really don't care.
He goes on there to irritate people. I'm certain. I'm certain of it. And you might get idolized in the process.
Well, yeah, somehow people. But the thing is like with me, it is what it is. I don't consider the feelings as an important aspect of it, and because of that, my results are always significantly better. When I go for something, if I want to accomplish it, it gets done. So to me, results speak for themselves, and that's the same thing when it comes to the diet. Don't follow there's a 1,000 people on there on social media teaching you about how to do carnivore. You have to trial and error and do things yourself. Don't go on there and try to find somebody who's got everything figured out, because they don't. But get different ideas from different people. Don't be so dogmatic about it, because there's a lot of that, and it's too much.
And I think that carnivore as a lifestyle, I think some people find their way here because it's their last ditch effort at getting their health back on track. And for those people, yes, it's a really wonderful choice. And some people just want to try it because it's the proper human diet, and they want to see how they feel, if they do feel any different. But I will tell you, I had a follow up with a patient today, and we did this panel that I can run for people. We call it the Total Tox Burden Panel, and it tests for heavy metals, it tests for environmental toxins, and it also tests for mycotoxins, so things like mold and stuff like that. And this one patient, luckily she didn't have any heavy metals present, but what she did have were a ton of environmental toxins, mainly things that get taken up into the body through like the soil that like vegetables are grown in. And when you look these things up, like it's very clear that that's the pathway that it's making its way into her system. And she suffered with GI stuff her whole life. She suffered with thyroid stuff her whole life, and these were direct correlations, right?
Yeah.
We can't have 100 with certainty say causation, but there's direct correlations between the things that she came up exposed to, or with high amounts. And I'm talking like most of these environmental toxins were 10x the safe level. Like not even like the of the upper range.
So imagine how toxic your kids are, right? If you're feeding them junk food every day, if they're eating chicken nuggets, I mean, there's so many plant-based ingredients that they add to things that are just deadly. They're horrible. They wonder why our kids all have ADHD and are all inflamed, and autism's on the rise.
Well, what I wanted to say with that is that, obviously what matters is, okay, what do we do with this information, and how are we going to treat this patient, right? Because obviously the goal is to get this stuff out. And in a situation like that, beyond just what I recommend normally to people, the carnivore diet is part of the therapeutic process, because when you're trying to clear out toxins from the body, you have to first cut the source, right? So she has to cut out vegetables at this point. She has to cut out any plant matter, because that's adding to her toxic burden, right? In addition, there were also things that came up there that were present in a lot of her beauty products, shampoos, conditioners, body washes, makeup, shaving creams, and even products that show up in clothing items like yoga pants. Yeah, I bet you didn't know that yoga pants can actually be a source of what we call PFAs, which are known as the forever chemicals.
Yeah, that's polyester. You want to stick with cotton everything if you have a chance.
Yeah, and organic even at that. It's really terrible the amount of things that we're exposed to on a daily basis. Women especially, sometimes we're exposed to literally hundreds, if not thousands of chemicals before we even have breakfast.
Yeah.
If you're not being super mindful of it, that's the other aspect, right? Like, so getting on a carnivore lifestyle, yeah, you're taking care of the dietary aspect, but what are you consuming through your skin? That's, people miss that as a organ of absorption, and I really do think it's important. Like, look at your pantry, like your cabinet, like your the beauty cabinet, and look at all the stuff that you're putting on your body, because you could be making yourself just as sick from these environmental toxins as you would be eating plants. You got to do it all.
Yeah. And our deodorant, all soaps. I basically stopped using all that stuff. I smell a lot better since being on carnivore. I just don't smell, I guess, is the rule. I mean, sometimes, but it's very rare. Even when I go to the gym, I don't like. Except I do smell everybody else now. It's crazy. I smell everybody's breath.
Smell everyone's breath so intensely.
I go into the gym, man. It's like, dude, It's always like the more carbohydrates that person had for breakfast, the more they smell. I don't know what it is. I don't know if I'm smelling
Fermentation.
the sweetness in their, like, I don't know, but it's disgusting. I hate it. It's terrible. So I try to stay like 5 feet from people now, because if they get too close to me, I'm like, did you eat like a burrito for breakfast? Because you're like really sour smelling and sweet. Zen wants to hit. That's what he does.
He's saying towards
to this.
You want the bone, sir?
You want to chew on the bone?
This bone. I'm done
Here.
with this bone. Here, you want the bone?
Get some of that collagen off there, buddy. Look at this kid eat this stuff. He's trained, right? He's eating, but it's instinctual. I can tell, because he really, really enjoys.
This is not a real tattoo on our baby.
This is not a real tattoo.
I feel like I have to disclaim that for the people of the internet, that we do not have a real tattoo on our baby.
Yeah,
this is
a fake tattoo.
Zoe tattoo that Zoe has like a kit of that she can play with, and.
Right. But see this behavior right here. I mean, this is like going to last a lifetime, because he's tasting it. He's getting a feel for it. He's like feeling it, tearing it off the bone. I mean, this is going to last a lifetime for him. And these are the kind of things you have to do. Start them early, but also, I've made a post.
Play with that?
I made a post today that when kids don't want to eat their vegetables because they're bitter. They
know that they're poison.
You have to be trained to like vegetables, and that's something that happens from an early age. Everybody says, "Oh, eat your vegetables, eat your vegetables." That is a inappropriate food for humans.
In The Princess Bride, he survived because he consumed poison and developed a tolerance for it. Was it still a good idea to consume poison? Probably not.
I don't remember that part.
You don't remember? That was like the best part of The Princess Bride.
Is it? Yeah. It's been so long since I watched it. Mm-hmm.
This guy.
I think I only watched it because you made me watch it when I met you. I don't think I've seen it before that.
No comment on that. Anyway, he makes fun of me because I cut the meat off of
the ribs. I have to tear it off so I think that's important to train them early, right? And if they want certain things and they're not good for them, you can't just let them have that. I mean, it's literally poison. I think it's borderline child abuse, especially sugar. Like, just giving your kids stuff that has sugar in it, like, seriously, shame on you. You can do better than that. You're an adult, maybe. I mean, you won't let your kids do this or do that, and like you're in control, but you'll just feed them whatever crap just to shut them up. Like, to me, that's bad parenting, And there is no easy way to do it. You just have to rip the Band-Aid off. You have to tell them, sorry, we're not buying this food anymore.
And of course, they're gonna get pissed off. Like, why wouldn't they?
And they're gonna say, I'm not gonna eat anything, and then because I've had parents tell me, they're like, oh, little Johnny, he won't eat anything.
Let them be hungry.
Let them starve.
They will eat when they're hungry.
Let me tell you something. Hunger is the best sauce. Yeah. Okay? I don't put sauce or seasonings on any of my food. When I'm hungry, everything tastes good, right? When I'm hungry, that piece of meat is the best thing I've ever had. When I'm not hungry, I'm like, it's okay, right? Because I'm just not hungry. There's a real mouth-watering hunger that comes with carnivore that's just amazing. Mama.
You got grease.
No, he got grease all over his hands.
I want another bone.
What are you doing with the other bone? I'm just gonna find some random.
Probably throws it in the trash.
He's random
good at
bones.
throwing things in the trash.
Did you throw it away, sir? I'm gonna find a bone somewhere someday. Just be like,
Carnivore house.
Carnivore house. It's just bones on the floor. But yeah, so I think with kids, it's just important just to just knock it out now. There's no easy way to do it. You're not going to, there's no magic to it. You just gotta. You gotta do the hard stuff, right? That's the whole thing. Yeah. It's hard. The first couple weeks are really hard for carnivore. It's easier for these kids because their metabolism will change so fast. They're not gonna struggle with it. Get that bone off my couch.
And I think also it becomes redefining, like, what does it mean to love your kids?
Yeah.
People.
Go ahead.
People will want to say, "Oh, I love my kids, so I'm making them this delicious dinner, etc., etc." But isn't it more loving to your kids to set them up with a metabolism and a body and a health base that they can take into their later years that's super, super solid? I mean, truthfully. And I get it. Like, there's certain situations where hard, like maybe you're a single parent and you don't have the time, effort, energy to, be preparing all these foods. I mean, if you want, like, here's the thing. My heart goes out to you in those situations, and the other process is that people will always fight for their limitations, but people will still always find a way to persevere for something that they really, really want. So it becomes a choice. Like, and some of you have seen this. I have the word choose tattooed on my wrists because I know that every moment is a choice. And like, that's the only power that I have, is that I can choose my moments. So again, it is a choice. It is always a choice. You're not a victim of your circumstances. You create your circumstances.
Mama. What's mama? My approach is different. But, you know, that's why it helps to hear everybody's different approach. You know, it's like, to me, it's just suck it up and do it. Tough shit. If you don't like it, I'm sorry, but, you know, like, we're here to get results. And, you know, I personally believe that the carnivore diet in this push, and to go back to our human species appropriate diet, is what's going to save our species. Because right now, if you look at our trajectory, it's not looking good. It doesn't look very good for humans as a whole. Okay, our disease rates are like, it's just mind blowing how many people are getting sick and dying. And the whole thing where people say, oh, you know, you just get fat and sick as you age, bullshit. We don't. You should live to 120 years old healthfully. that means no overweight, no high blood pressure. You're not getting faulty as you get older, because you're just getting older.
Here's the thing, though, diseases of lifestyle are diseases of lifestyle are diseases of lifestyle. There's like, genetic predisposition literally means nothing, because predisposition just means that it's there. It doesn't mean that it's been turned on. You only turn on those genes through lifestyle. And guess what? It's the bad lifestyle, right? Nobody's going to turn on their diabetes gene through carnivore diet. You're just not. Like, you have to be eating like a complete asshole, plenty of sugar, to turn on that gene.
The more strict you are at keeping your insulin low, and more disciplined you are doing that, the more healthy you'll be. Like, I feel like I personally think, just on my instinct, think that insulin's whole job is to get rid of the crap that's not good for us, which is sugar.
And so I should what my comment about eating a bunch of sugar, it's, you know, it's diabetes, and it isn't even all it's not 100% only sugar. And I need to say this, because there are some people that can eat a ton of sugar and they never develop diabetes. And the difference is, the sugar has to be consumed in the presence of PUFAs. So the oils that oxidize, that are bad for you, the ones like the vegetable oils and stuff. Diabetes almost always occurs in the combination of those two things. It's really not in isolation of just sugar, because your body has built-in mechanisms to get rid of that sugar. It doesn't have built-in mechanisms to get rid of that shitty ass oil.
Yes, we have 4 organs to help break down fat, and only 1 to get rid of sugar. So,
but again, it's not just fat, right? Like, we should not say that fat is equal, right? Proteins aren't equal if you're considering plant protein versus animal protein, and fat is not equal when you're talking about animal fat versus plant fats, right? One of them is detrimental to the body, one of them is very essential to the body.
yes.
So they're not even within the same realm. So saying that we have 4 organs to break down those plant fats, like
Saturated fat is what I.
Saturated fats is what we prefer and what our body really wants to hold on to. But the canola oil, the soybean oil, the peanut oil, the safflower oil,
all plant fats.
All of those oils in the presence of sugar will lead to insulin resistance, diabetes, cancer, Alzheimer's, heart disease, like, you name it.
Blood pressure.
Yeah, the list goes on, and it's a deadly combination. It's the 1-2 punch. I would argue that you could eat, you could have sugar in your diet, and if you didn't have the oils, you'd probably fare pretty well, because your kidneys would just excrete it.
Oh.
It's not a study that I would want to do.
Yeah. No.
Ethically, I don't know if it would be approved, but that's my hypothesis, because the inflammation that's caused by those shitty oils is so damaging. If you only had to listen, even if you didn't go carnivore and you only gave up that one thing, you would do better.
Yeah, but you have to have meat to survive, and you have to have essential fatty acids. There are essential fatty acids, essential amino acids. If you don't get them, you die. Or it's a slow death. You know, vegans live 10 years without any problems, typically, and then they have a ton of problems. Vegans at year 10 seem to really crash.
Yeah.
And I think it just has to do with the lack of nutrients, you know? If you have to supplement your diet, you're on the wrong diet.
Yeah. It takes me a long time to eat because of babies.
Yeah. Not me, I eat everything so fast. Then he's not gonna let you do that. He's not gonna let you eat that. He's very needy. Mama! You wanna hold daddy? Yeah, but getting back to the kids thing, because that's kind of the purpose of this, was just, you're gonna have to rip the Band-Aid off, and it's for their own good, and some like if you gave any person, if you tried cocaine, you're gonna like it, right? Because you're chemically designed to like it, right? It acts on dopamine. Carbohydrates and plant-based foods act on dopamine. The reason you like eating plant-based foods is because every time you put plants in your mouth, you're eating dessert. Because even broccoli breaks down into sugar and glucose. Okay, you don't need any exogenous glucose. You don't need to consume glucose. Your body makes what it needs. You do need to consume essential fatty acids. You do need to consume protein, right? You need a ton of protein. You need a lot more. Like the RDA's recommended daily allowance of foods, those are the minimums. I don't know if you know that. That's not like, oh, I got my 30 grams of protein today. No, that is the minimum that you need, and that's assuming that protein is bioavailable, which would mean that most of it's all animal-based protein. The nitrogen that's from plant-based foods is readily available. Amino acids is meat. You know that for a fact. The science is there. You can look it up. You can find it. So.
Yeah, I know. I'm considering adding a qualifier to my patient applications. Are you vegetarian or vegan?
Yeah, it's just like there's no help.
I can't help you. Like I really cannot help you. I would love to placate you for the next 10 years because you'll be a consistent patient, therefore paying me. But that's just not how I operate, right? Like my goal is always goodbye.
I don't want to see you again.
Yeah, that's always my goal. Like I want to get my patients better and empower them with knowledge so that they can make continued choices. And like maybe if you need to check in once a year to make sure check labs and make sure things are on track. But I don't want to see you all the time. Like I want you to be good to go. That's the goal. Yep. He doesn't like when I talk. He likes to talk over me.
He's a jerk.
He does this all the time.
Sometimes babies are jerks.
Yeah.
It's always nice and sweet, but Zen's kind of like spit fire.
Yeah, he's a Sagittarius.
Yes. But yeah, so if you guys have questions about, like how to do it, what you how would I do?
Facebook group.
Yeah, Facebook group, Carnivore, Harder, Happier, Healthier. There's no drama. It's all information based. Nobody's gonna chastise you for not being 100% carnivore or whatever, like a lot of the groups
Zach
do.
might irritate you.
Yeah, but it's because I just give it to you straight. I just don't have that what is it? What's it called? But that's why people.
You have no bedside manner.
I have no bedside manner, but people follow what I say because they know that I'm coming from a place that is strictly results oriented, right? Because
it's just not everybody's cup of tea.
It's not everybody's cup of tea, but the people that listen, they tend to get results, and that's what I go for, right? I'm here to help. I'm here to baby people and make even though that's my way of caring. For me, I would rather somebody have said 10 years ago, hey Zach, you're stupid, why are you eating plants, this is why you shouldn't eat plants, knock it off. But nobody did that, right? And I would have loved that, because then I'd have been like, oh shit, like this person really cares about my health, they're telling it to me straight, right? So that's the reason why, because I've always gotten results based on that.
I think that's a good way to end it. If you care about someone, tell it to them straight.
Yeah, give it to them straight.
Yep.
Anyway, yeah, so just ask us questions about how to do it with the kids. I'll give you the best possible answers. And I do come from a place of caring, I promise. It's just that's my way of doing it, right? And luckily there's different kinds of people throughout the whole world, and you can learn from all of those people. So you get to
Yeah, if you don't like it, move on to the next
carnivore.
carnivore.
You can always move on, right? So, but I will always give it to you straight and tell you what works and what doesn't.
You're a juicy piece of fat.
All right, we'll talk to you guys another time.
Bye.